Flosstube. This is Sylvia with Running with Needles and Scissors, and it's been a while since I've been with you. My notes say that it has been since April 8th. My apologies. If you've watched my release video, I did say I was sick. I'd been sick for a while, and by that I don't mean any terrible illness. It just some sort of crud got a hold of me and wouldn't let go. So I was just fighting cough and, you know, all the other lovely things that you get when you have the crud. Anyways, much better now. Energy levels higher. You can see Maisie right here. I'm petting her because this is start number 2. She was watching the bird feeder and invariably has to bark at all the threats that are out there. Anyways, I wanted to thank everybody who reached out to me. I wanted to thank all my subscribers and viewers that come back time after time and watch this hot mess every time. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And, you know, hope to get back on a better schedule. Life has been incredibly busy. And so let me just go over what I've been up to and talk a little bit about my trip, etc. So last time I was here, it was right before I was taking off for Germany to visit my dad and then hopping over the channel to go on this very wonderful trip that Tanya from Blackberry Primitives put together. And the 2 teachers that were part of this trip were Stacy Nash and Maggie Bonanami. So the trip over went smoothly. It was really great to see my dad. I got to hang out with my girlfriend of many, many years. We went, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I went to Cafe Stecker, which is a cafe in Bremen where my dad lives. And we've been trying for years to get them to sell us a coffee cup and a saucer that has Stecker on it, and they won't. Anyway, so this time when I was there, and their food is great. They specialize in torts and cakes and whatnot. Really delicious. My poor girlfriend Birgit has developed a gluten intolerance, so those we need to pay more attention to where we go on our outings because it's a little hard for her to find something to eat in a place that is full of flour. But anyways, I was teasing the waitress that, you know, I was a Stecker and she didn't believe me, and so I showed her my driver's license, and, you know, she was a little bit like, so, you know, are you related? I was like, I don't think so. Anyways, lots of fun. Yeah, and then I took a quick hop with Lufthansa across the channel to Heathrow a couple days after spending a couple days in Germany, and they managed to lose my luggage. Awesome. It was gone for 3 days. So yeah, you know, part of our time in London was me getting at least, you know, something to wash my face with, and, you know, some deodorant, etc. So that was no fun, but it did eventually show up, and they had to basically follow me on our trip because we had already left London, and I was, you know, I was hopping mad. I had to go back to Heathrow, stand in line, add a phone where you could talk to the baggage people. Otherwise, you had no recourse. I mean, it was a crazy system, and so they were like, yes, we promise, we will get that to you, you know, and I was like, okay, tomorrow we're at this hotel down in the Cotswolds, and, you know, that is your you know, otherwise I can't come back to Heathrow and stand on by the phone and communicate with you guys. So they did. It was at the hotel in the Cotswolds when we got there. The trip overall was really lovely. You know, we had typical English weather, lots of drizzle, rain, cloudy mornings, very little sunshine. But, you know, if you are dressed for that, you can make do. I think part of my most favorite things were visiting the castle, and I wish we'd had more time to do that, because there was so much to explore in these. We went to 2 castles. We just didn't have enough time to really look around and kind of absorb the whole thing. And interestingly enough, each castle had a very, very nice gift shop with a restaurant attached. And it was amongst the best food we had on the entire trip. I mean, those 2 gift shops did an amazing job. And like I said, it was beyond tasty. You know, we had avocado toast, and, you know, some people had, you know, a hot meal, and, you know, and everybody was thumbs up. It was really, really great. So we went to see Sudley Castle and Berkeley Castle. And Sudley Castle is where Catherine Parr? Ooh, I should have taken better notes. I think it's Catherine Parr. The last wife of Henry VIII was buried. She died right after childbirth, and it wasn't Henry's child, but it was her second husband. No, her 4th husband. Was Henry VIII her 4th husband? Well, anyway, she had a number of husbands. She was gorgeous and striking, and the husbands kept dying. So don't ask me. But anyways, the last guy she married, she had a child with a daughter, and she died right after childbirth, and they really have no record of what happened to the daughter. And her grave was basically also forgotten in history where she was, and it just happened that one afternoon, these group of women, they were noble women, they were on a stroll and were poking around because I think the castle had fallen into a little bit of disrepair, and they found a plaque kind of under the weeds where it said that she was buried there. And it was just fascinating. And, you know, you got a lot of insight into Elizabeth's life. She was a really good stepmom to Elizabeth and a good role model. And just the whole atmosphere was amazing. Now the family, I'm so sorry about my dog, Maisie. I'm sure it's a squirrel. Maisie, come, stop. Yes, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. All right. Hey, stop barking. Stop. It never fails every time I get on. But, you know, she lives here too, so it is what it is. Let's see. The family that owns the castle still lives there, and I think the story is that the heir to the castle married an American woman, and then he died really young of a heart attack, and so she was left with this castle with huge overhead and really very little way to pay for it, and there had been plans put into motion to make it, you know, open to the public and a source of income. And so she proceeded with that, and she basically saved the castle and then remarried an earl, a duke, you know, somebody like that. And he sold his whole holdings in order to come over to her castle and invest into that. So that must have been true love. But it really fascinating, and so many portraits and things, you know, and I think on my Instagram that was one of the places where there were a number of samplers displayed. So very fascinating and beautiful. Again, we didn't have enough time. The gardens and the chapel, and then the castle and the, you know, the exhibit. Anyways, and we also visited Berkeley Castle. And Berkeley Castle is related to Berkeley University, same family. And so there are a lot of US-British interactions there. One of the things was that John F. Kennedy visited Berkeley Castle, and I guess they have a pool, which we didn't get to see. And he was, you know, he had played in the pool. He was a kid at the time, not an adult. And then he came in and laid on the couch in his wet bathing suit and got a lecture from the master of the manor. The master of the manor did not think it was cool to have this boy in his wet swimsuit laying on the couch. Yeah, he does have, John F. Kennedy did have ties to that area, and I'll tell a story a little later that I found fascinating. So anyways, let's see, we got to visit and stay with a parish, and that's where we did the stitching and wool applique. Really lovely church. I believe it's St. Mary's. Oh geez, again, I should have written this down. I will write it underneath when I edit this. Anyways, it was really, really lovely. The church is an 11th century church. Some of the gravestones, the church, sits in the middle of the graveyard. I guess that's most common in these little village churches. And so some of the gravestones are very, very old. We saw so many tombstone angels. It was fantastic. But so this is an 11th century stone church, pretty old. And so the first day that we were there for our stitching and wool applique class, we were freezing. Nobody took off their coats or anything. We just stayed all bundled up, and and then there was the British contingent that was taking care of us, and they were so fantastic. And they were all in their regular indoor blouses and light sweaters, and we're all bundled up because we're not used to that. And so they realized that we were suffering a little bit, and they warmed up the church some. The fun thing was that the weekend prior, there was a craft show of local artisans, and the caretaker of the church said, why don't you leave some of the stuff here? Because there were paintings and wood sculptures and, all kinds of different things. Really, really nicely done. Fused glass art. So he said, why don't we keep some of the displays because it makes the church look so nice. And, this group of 30 women walked in and cleaned them out, bought everything in sight. And so the artisans came with more and we bought them out, and then they came with more. And I think finally, they had met most of the need. Really fun stuff. And I will show some of it in a little while. And there was a bell tower. So it was a 14th century bell tower. And his name is Les, one of the guys that was taking care of us, older man, super, super wonderful, nice. He did one bell tower tour after another. He would take a group of us up, and patiently explain everything and point out, this and that and history, and then you could climb all the way to the top and get the look of the lay of the land. So I was on the last tour up the bell tower. I am not great with heights. I actually really didn't give it a second thought, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And it was on the last day, and so about halfway through, going up these teeny tiny stairs, so they're circular, and you basically scrape along the wall. It's so tight, that shoulder to shoulder, it's really, you got to kind of tilt yourself to get up there, and you're kind of dragging along the wall to make sure that you are using the widest tread area of the tread, because it's super narrow on the inside, of course. And so I think halfway up there was the bell ringing room, and up until that point I was good. I'd totally forgotten. It was also very fascinating, but when we started up again, my knees were like, ooh, and I'm like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, it's because me and heights really don't get along. And then when you get to the top of the tower, the door is only a half-size door, and it's really narrow. And so, and the last step is like huge. And so you can sort of crawl out and, you know, stand up and then you're on the top, and it's quite cool and really nice. But trying to go back down and getting back in there is a whole different story. It's like you have to kind of scooch in on your butt and hang on, you know, and find your footing, but it's not very wide, and, you know, and then trying to get your head in. Oh my Lord. Anyways, nobody fell, nobody injured themselves. So it was really cool. But in the actual bell ringing room, there were two plaques, or there was a plaque, and it had two different dates on it when they had rung the bells for 3 hours. And I forget what the first one, the date was, but the second date immediately hit me. It was November 23rd, 1963. They rang those bells for 3 hours. And I looked at Les and I said, Les, you know, that on November 23, 1963, these were the only two occasions when they've rung the bells that were recorded on the walls. I said, did they ring that for Kennedy? And he gave me this look like, I don't know. I never thought about it. And I said, well, he died on the 22nd, but by the time you would have gotten the news and it has spread, it would have been the 23rd for you guys, you know. And I do truly believe that they rang those bells for John F. Kennedy when he got assassinated. Here she comes. Maisie, give me your toy. Here, let me have it. It's the green squeaky pig. We're gonna put it right here. She's so used to me throwing it. She's over there waiting. That's so mean. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How about this one under the couch? There's a ball. There you go. Take that. She goes, that's not what I was squeaking on. Anyway, so he said he would research it and look into it. But since John F. Kennedy did have ties to that area, I do believe that that's what they did. The really fascinating thing about these bells are that there are people that are trained to ring them. They live in the surrounding communities. It takes about 45 minutes for them all to get there before they can start ringing the bells. And then they have to, okay, she took it again, her little squeaky toy. Please, can we not squeak? Let me have it. That's a no-no. No, I'm not gonna throw it. I'm sorry. Oh, it's gone. I don't know where, I know. I'm sorry. She's looking around. Okay. So then once they get the bells going, they have to go for 45 minutes. And they were really, really so kind and gracious to come in from after work to ring the bells for us one evening. I will have to say, I've never had a more hospitable, lovely stay than what the parish, you know, presented to us. And they fed us so well, and we're just making sure that we had everything, you know, everything we could wish for. She's really looking for her, whoopsie, for her squeaky toy. Aw, I've never taken it kind of away like that. Okay. All right, let's see. Let me show you what the projects were from Stacy Nash and Maggie Bonanami. Stacy Nash's project is very Stacy Nash. You know, it came in a little bag with her, well, I don't think it's her logo, but her name is on it. Let's see here. And here is the front of the project, and here is the back of the project. It is stitched on a beautiful piece of 40 count Shrieky's tan, I believe. I did not get very far. I got that far. So this is a thread holder, thread bed, something like that. So this is the fabric that goes on the inside, which is dyed by Tanya from Blackberry Primitives, I'm sorry. And These are the colors, all Weeks Dye Works. Now, I read a thing on Homespun Elegance about Weeks Dye Works and people were struggling with it. I really love Weeks Dye Works. It can be a little bit more temperamental, but honestly, waxing it or running it over a damp sponge, running the individual strand, really fixes its temperamental issues and lets it calm down, and it's beautiful to stitch with. There is a little needle hidden book, and so we got the shape for that, and I think some finishing material right here. Does it say anything? No, it just has the tag. Anyway, so that was Stacy Nash's project. I believe this will not be released from what we were told. It is exclusive to the trip. Put it back in. Okay, keep it tidy. And then the Maggie project is in a really lovely project bag right now that one of the ladies, Jeannie is her name, made. Her birthday was during the trip and she turned 75 and she made everybody a project bag. Some people are beyond generous, and yeah. Yeah, anyway, so just a gorgeous bag. This is, I'm not sure it's Blackbird. There's some Blackbird fabric. Ooh. This is a mess because I've been working on it. Let me just take everything out so you can see it. Anyways, that was a really nice present for her birthday. And a sweet little zipper pull. Okay, so Maggie's project, let's see, looks like this. So these are pockets. This is the inside of the roll, and this is the outside of the roll. Sewing roll up. Anyways, we got the Union Jack, the little sailboat, and then some flowers at the bottom. I'm going to change these flowers and see if I can't get more of the bluebells look in there, because I think it's more. That was one of the big focal points of our trip, were to come see the bluebells. So, but I worked on it on the way back, well, there and on the way back from the event on the airplane, and basically, whoa, Maisie basically got everything. This one needs to be sewn on, but got this far, and then down here is room for if I want to do bluebells, if I can, you know, get a decent design going. But anyways, that was quite fun. Like I said, I did most of this on the plane. Rob and I were not sitting together, not on purpose. It just happened to that because we flew in separately, and so he came in, I bought him a ticket on Mars, and 1 minute. All right, I had a serious talk with her. I don't know if it'll be effective. She's here with her head in my lap. She feels bad. Okay, just please stop barking. All right, anyways, just that by the time I called the airline to try and get us seating together, there wasn't any. So he was actually sitting behind me, and I was sitting with, excuse me, I was just gathering up all the material, all the fabric from Maggie's project. I was sitting with an older couple, and he was a talker. And I've never had that before, that he talked all the way across the ocean. I mean, all the way. I did not close my eyes once. I finally just told him, look, I'm gonna pull out this wool applique that I need to work on. I've got homework is what I told him. And so I was patiently just listening to him, working on my stuff, going, There were times when I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot keep my eyes open. And when we got off, Rob was like, holy moly, Sylvia. I don't know how you did it, but I was like, well, he had a need to talk. So I'm like, all right, mister, then, talk. His wife had her headphones on. She was watching a movie. She got a nap in, I was just getting off the plane like this, like, oh. Anyways, but it did allow me to do a little bit of work on the project. So gotta look on the bright side of things. Tanya made us needle books with the church on it, and this is not quite what it looked like, but it's close. Here's the bell tower. And so oopsie, well, there it is. Really nice. And a lot of work. A little bit of, yep. So it says Portbury 2024. It was quite nice. All right, that pretty much, I think, wraps up my trip, except I did bring home 2 samplers. One had been living with my friend Adele, who I got to meet in London, and it was lovely. It was like we've known each other forever, and I owe her a message. So Adele, if you're watching this, I owe you a message. But I picked up a small sampler at an antique shop in Stowe on the Wall, and it's small. I really just think it's charming. As I was studying it, there is something, and I'm not sure what, behind this sampler. I mean, it's been framed very nicely, but I see stuff behind it. I don't know if I'm going to take it apart. We'll see. The verse reads, "At every trifle scorn to take at every trifle scorn to take offense, it always shows great pride or little sense." It's pretty good for today, even. Done by Anne Euphemia Froud Keevel. Now there's a name. In June 3rd, 1836. I bought it really close to June 3rd. I wish it had fallen right on June 3rd, but it didn't. We were already back here. But here's this little gem of a sampler. Very finely done. Now, I don't know if I can show you that you can see shadows. Like right there, right there, right there. It's darker behind that. And I don't know, something. Anyways, there's glare and I apologize. Oh, here you can even see it even better. So I'm not sure. We'll see. It's framed very nicely. So it says, Anne, she was born on the 24th of November, 1826. She was baptized in 1831. Streeple, Ashton, Wilkes, John Francis Thorbridge. Okay, so she married John Francis Thornbridge. And she died, didn't say when she married it, and she died on April 27th, 1916. So there we go. I'm not sure if I will do a, if you guys have looked at my Hannah Rome, Note of Love, it's done on Tango, so it's the background is quite strong, colorful. And I'm continuing on with these very sweet, simple samplers, and I'm calling them samplings of color. Lisa, my friend Lisa, Lady Huzzah, helps me with names because my name was Color Your Sampler, and she's like, let's not do that. So after batting things back and forth, we came up with samplings of color. And the next one's coming out in August here at the Online Needlework Show, and it is so sweet. Miriam stitched it for me, And when it came back, I just was like, oh my gosh, I love it so much. It's so, so sweet. So I don't know if I'll do that with this one, put it on a very different non-neutral background, or if I'm going to reproduce it just the way it is. The thing on these sampling with colors, the colors I'm using are pretty close to what the actual sampler. So it's really a pretty good reproduction as such. I'm just not using a fabric that is neutral. I think it makes it interesting and quite a bit of fun to stitch. Anyways, okay, so there's that one. And then this one, Adele has been holding for me, and we took it out of the frame so I could get it back. And it's a stunner. This is completely full coverage with silk. And this is Petty Point. All these little motifs are over one and very finely done. Anybody feel up for that? I picked these samplers, but I think when you get the colors on, it's going to be a stunner, absolutely. And I'm not doing the full coverage silk. I'm just going to reproduce it as if this is a linen background. But it's a beauty. These flower borders, ooh la la. So probably I will pick a bigger fabric, such as 36. So the over one isn't a total killer, but you can always do over one in a 10 stitch. And this might be just 10 stitch. I'd have to put on some magnifiers to, probably not. These ambitious young ladies, she probably did full crosses on it. Anyways, really, really lovely. No name, can't give credit to anybody on this one, but Adele got on the train and carried this to London, and I carried it around London and then back home. So there's that one. Let's see, I wanted to show you a few things I picked up from the local artisans. I'm not showing everything because sometimes I bought multiples and they're presents, so we won't be showing any of that. But I totally lost my mind over this super, super cute strawberry bag, felted wool strawberry bag. Had to have it. Well, I really should put it on one day. When the time is right, I'll just do a little, you know, crossbody. Isn't she cute? She's so cute. I have the tag and, you know, the maker on it still. So there's the back. And then she also did little pins, felted wool pins. Can you just, it's the cutest. Now, one thing I didn't know, and I may have mentioned it, is that I did not, I mean, I know now, there are no hedgehogs in the United States of America. How is that even possible? But there's plenty of them in England. Now, Stacey Nash is working on English, what are those called? The little animals, animal crackers, there you go. And she started with a badger because the family at Sudley Castle had a pet badger. I don't think they make good pets, to be honest, but they had a pet badger. So we all can have a pet badger now in the form of Stacey's animal cracker. But I hope she does a hedgehog. It's a must, Stacey, it's a must. She told me that she lurks on my Instagram. I'm pretty sure she does not lurk on my Flosstube, so there's that. And the other thing I can show is this very cute little bee. I didn't put the needle back in because I've pinned them to my, I have like a mannequin shape, kind of vintagey, and it's got cloth on it. So, and I have a lot of my necklaces on there, but all around the shoulders and the sides, I have different little pins that I've collected So here's the little bumblebee. She's so cute. All right, and speaking of wool felt, my girlfriend Birgit in Germany bought me this cute sheep. She is so darling. Handmade, just as cute as can be. So she stands guard over a few things. I don't have a name for her yet. Does she have a name? I still have the tag on. They didn't name her, I don't think. Hold on. Well, she's called the white sheep with a skirt and a snowdrop. Do you want to call her Ethel? Let's call her Ethel. Anyways, I'll probably forget that I named her Ethel, but here she is. She's super cute. Let's see, what else on the trip? I don't think I brought anything else back. I was pretty conservative over there. Not so in the States, but over there. Yep, okay. So that is that. Well, after we came home, we turned right around and left for North Dakota, where my son graduated from the University of North Dakota. He spent 6 years in the Air Force and then took his time. He had me worried, but he took his time getting through the university, but he's done. And it was nice to go up there and see him, and our daughter Erica joined, so it was a mini family reunion, not quite, but it was good to spend time with all of them. And then we came back and I kept getting sicker and sicker. It was no fun. I eventually ended up in bed, you know, like I'm done. And then it was time for Lisa and her friend Stacy to come visit. They stayed here one night, and then Lisa and I took off to Miriam's lake house in Indiana, and Stacy went to visit a friend because she used to live here in Ohio. Where are we? But Lisa brought me a few things. Remember that Lisa went to Italy. I landed on the 3rd, and I think she left on the 4th, and went on this fabulous tour in Italy and had a really super duper time. Good time. She brought some Italian travel mints. It's really more about the tin than the mints. I already told her I wouldn't eat the mints because they've got sucralose in them, and I cannot do that. That is like poison to me. I get terrible headaches from it. So, but the tin is super cute and definitely could do something. She was like, give me the mints. She knew right away already when she gave it to me. She goes, just empty the mints out, which we forgot, so they're still here, but we'll take care of it next time. She also brought another thing that I'm not going to show because, and it's fabulous, just because she bought extra for other people and I don't want to ruin it. So I love mine. It is so nice. Okay, which you can't do anything with. She also gifted me these zipper containers. I know exactly what's going in here. This would be great for wool felt, for a wool felt project. And they are by, the tag is off a little bit. She gave me two, a small one and a big one. Maple and Lark. So it's Maple and Lark. Their website is mapleandlark.com. And they only restock, well, she said they only restock once a year, but that can't be right. Because she said that they contact her shortly. They were all sold out, and they sell out really, really quickly. But anyway, so she gifted me these. These are fantastic. And Stacy gifted me a wonderful tea towel from Hands Across the Sea. This is Ann Castle. I was messing around with it to see if I could make a project bag. I'd have to cut it up, and I don't know. I don't want to. These are great for covering up your stitching and other things, so I will probably leave it just as is, unless some kind soul is like, I'll make a nice project bag for you. I'm like, okay, great. Oh, and Stacy gave me a, remember In the Company of Friends? Oopsie there. I don't think they're in business anymore. So here's a thread thing, and Lisa knows we both collect different Trader Joe's bags from different states. They have a different one for every state they're in. And so I've got a number of them, but this is from Virginia. And isn't this fabulous? Virginia ham. And it says Trader Joe is for lovers. All right, well, I love Trader Joe. All right, there's that. Enough of the silliness. Let's see. Oh, on my trip, I can't believe I forgot about this. We got to stop at Whitney Antiques. We weren't allowed to take any photos. Oh my gosh. Talk about sampler paradise. I mean, they were stacked. They were samplers just stacked on top of each other. Every wall space was covered. You know, they were leaned this deep against a wall, you know, pile after pile after pile. So we didn't even see a fraction of really what she has, but what we did see was amazing. They are, excuse me, they are not even close to my price range, but, oh, I'm sorry. Those are museum quality samplers, really, really fabulous. I was able to pick up some books. Let's see here. The Educated Stitch. An Exceptional Endeavor. Upstairs, Downstairs, Plain and Fancy. This one's obviously very fancy because it's got the little shiny things. What is it called? Paillettes? Something like that. The pronunciation is probably off. And Sampled Lives. This is her by Carol Humphrey. Ugh, I've looked through some of them, but I really need to take the time to study these. Fantastic. I want to show you one thing in this because it blew my socks off. It blew my socks off so much that I inquired about the price, which was out of my price range completely, but it was so fabulous that I want to create a piece that is inspired by this. I couldn't even believe my eyes. Anyways, this little housewife pocket, these are pocket samplers is what this is called. And this is pretty much the accurate size. It was tiny, teensy tiny. You couldn't see the holes in the linen. And I mean, look how much stitching there is. It was tiny. And this is the back side. So I figure maybe 32 count over 1. On even weave, I don't know if there's a 36 count on even weave. That would probably come even closer. Don't let over 1 scare you. It is not that hard. It's a little bit more tedious, but there are some really good tutorials, and I'm happy to do one as well on how to do over 1 that is relatively painless. But anyways, each one of this is a little pocket, and then it's rounded on top. Maybe I should read the verse. As mother loves to, I can't read that, tender babes upon her breast. Oh, so the babes of grace shall find Jesus Christ divinely kind. As a brother dearer still than a friend, so Jesus will manifest, maybe, a brother's care, freely make us his joint heir. Okay, there you go. Study this. It was fantastic. I think the price was like 6,000 or 7,000 pounds. Anyway, I bought this book just for that. Let's see, and I got another book in, oops, is it here still? Yes, down here, called Les Livres de Lettres d'ici and d'ailleurs. So, the book of alphabets, letters, today, and from earlier, the older, from Valerie Lejeune, and this I got from GGR. She's divesting, and so I snagged this one. Well worth it. Really lovely alphabets in there, so it kind of helps me when I do my buttons. I don't necessarily copy the letters. I kind of use them as a guide, and because I always have to adjust them to fit properly, and letters can be different sizes, and I need them all the same sizes. So, and you know, sometimes I just use it as a jumping off point. So having a lot of different letters available is really good for me. Let's see, and when the Sampler Guild of the Rockies had Tanya Brockmeyer in a month and a half ago or so, I think. And I don't know if I showed the project or not, but it's been on Instagram, etc. It's a really beautiful sampler. There was also a lady named, I believe, Becky Stevens. Did I write her down? Okay. Becky Stevens. And she does project bags, and they were super reasonable. And the guild is really great about taking care of us Zoom people, because this was an in-person thing, and there was a number of us in Zoom. And so the president came to the camera and held up all the different bags. And, you know, we were able to raise our hands if we wanted one. And so I got this one for me with the bees and the fun flowers on the outside. And she also made project folders, and I got this fabulous tulip pink one. Very bright, very fun. So I really enjoy these. I can get a lot in it, and sometimes I just take one, and I've got like 3 projects in there or something like that, and I can get my hoops in and everything. So just really lovely. I'm looking around to see what else. I think I've covered everything. All right, I wanted to talk just a little bit. I did a lot of antiquing in England, you know, in North Dakota, when Lisa and I were with Miriam in Indiana. And I'm not going to show everything right now. I think I'll just kind of spread it out a little bit. But one of the things I did pick up in North Dakota, there was a really nice mall there, are some sterling silver antique scissors. I didn't polish them. I like them just like this. So they're still in really good shape. And found some of these super pearl buttons. And on my trip with Lisa and Miriam, I found a sampler, really lovely. And it is, ooh. So I believe I have not taken the time to put on my magnifier and find out what's written up there, because I do believe her her name, etc., is up there, and I think it's either Portuguese or Italian. I'm not sure, but these little motifs are wonderful, really lovely and finely done. I love the magpie at the bottom, cherries. There's a little cat, teeny tiny cat. I mean, there's so much to love. That berry bowl is precious, you know. So I was very happy to snag that one. A little faded. I don't mind that. It gives me a little bit more freedom on color, and you know, I can do it basically sort of my version of this. I try to get it close to what possibly the color family was originally, but I can sort of adjust to what pleases my color palette. Anyway, so I can't tell you the name because I can't read it. Let me see. Nope. But it's definitely not English. But watch me eat my words. Anyway, so at some point or another, this sweet sampler will be reproduced. I've been stitching like crazy for the online needlework marketplace, I think it's called. I also, the Mary Foch Stitch Along in the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild is going to kick off in July. I'm waiting still on fabric and the Gentle Arch threads. I've got weeks here and I've got a couple other things that go in it here, but those two things are still missing, and so we cannot proceed until that gets here. But I have finished part 2. And I have taken the border all the way around, which really helps me stay on track. So she is so pretty, very, very, it's a very fall palette if that appeals to you. Now she's going to come out at Market. So, and one of the things I want to do as well is add a set of smalls from some of the motifs down here. And they will be, I have a plan to put them in a box, and it's just a matter of me getting to stitch them. Same colors, of course, but my fabric's going to be a little different. This is Oatmeal by Fiber on a Whim, and I think the box, and this is 46 count, and I want to go with a 36 count on the box, and so it's going to be a Weeks Dye Works. I believe it's Cocoa, but don't quote me because I haven't started on it. But there it is. That's as far as I've gotten. And so as soon as I get the next 2 things finished that are for the online needlework marketplace, I am going to hop back on her and work on her. And then let's see, the last thing I wanted to talk about is the Moda toweling that I stitched. I stitched Therefore I Am. 1 2 3 Stitch does have it listed. Last time I looked, it was out of stock, but hopefully they'll get it back in. And I got mine at Hancock of Paducah's. I know they have it in stock. It really is reasonable. It's like $8 a yard, something like that. And the second pillow, this is folded up because the second pillow is stitched mostly behind this, so I folded it so we can't see it. So you can get it from Hancock of Paducah. I think Miller Dry Goods has it. The pattern has the exact name of the toweling and the code. So on the pattern, you should be able to find it. It is not hard to find. All I do is you can just Google Moda toweling and then put the name of it in there. It's super easy. And the last thing I want to talk about and I don't have any because I sold out and they got sent out, are the Premax tartan scissors. Tanya from Scarlet House posted on Samplers Through Time that she was looking for a pair of Premax tartan scissors, and I replied that I had them on my website. Well, they immediately sold out. Tanya was able to send me a urgent message, like pull this one and that one, which I did. I got her colors set aside for her, but then it sold out in super quick. And I was not going to reorder them just right now because I need a certain amount to make it worthwhile to cover the shipping. Because I ordered directly from Premax in Italy, and Premax makes such a nice quality scissor. If you've not tried Premax, I have a variety of them on my website, but they're reasonably priced, and they're sharp, and the feel is really, really good. They're amongst my favorite scissors. So people contacted me and asked me if I was going to reorder, and I said probably not. Well, not right now. And then somebody mentioned the exclusive tartan box from Hobby House, and I was like, oh, I ordered one. I don't have a pair of tartan scissors. Because when my scissors came in from Premax, I wanted one of each, and I'm like, well, I can't do that, So I took one scissor from the inventory that I really wanted, and the rest I put on the website. Anyway, so I said, okay. I said, if there's enough interest, I will I will place an order with Premax. And so I posted on Samplers Through Time and another group I belong to and said, hey, if you're interested, just, you know, kind of show your interest here. And if there's enough, I will open these scissors up to pre-order, which I then did because there was plenty of interest. I had no idea. I was hoping for 20 scissors. It's way beyond that. But anyways, so this morning I had to turn off the pre-ordering and make sure first of all that Premax had the inventory, because I've been in communication with them and they were like, "Ooh, we better go count." And so they did. And yes, we are good on the scissor. And so I will turn on the ordering again, because for a while they said, "Oh, we are at max. This is all we have." And then I guess they did some digging and found more. So we're good. We can continue to order, and I will. So the first batch is coming. I already placed my order with them, and the, whatever comes in between now and the end of the month, I will order at the end of the month. And they should be here. It takes them about a week. We can have to pack the order, and then however fast they come over the ocean. Last time it did not take long. This time, I'm waiting on a sampler from Great Britain, and it's been unusually long, and according to the tracking, it's exactly there where it was, 2 weeks ago. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, if you're interested, the tartan scissors are $22. They come in red, blue, and green. The photo that I posted on Instagram, as well as the Samplers Through Time, is a little light because it came off the Premax site. If you want to look at accurate colors on my website, I actually have the photo of the actual scissor posted. So they're fun, and who doesn't like tartan? Well, I'm sure a few of you out there don't like tartan, but anyways. Okay, I think that's it. I think I've covered everything. Well, usually I always forget stuff, but it looks like I've been thorough. All right, my friends, thank you so much for all your support, all your love. Oh, Faithful Flag, none of my models are here, otherwise I'd hold it up. They still down at Keepsakes, post-COVID, post-StitchCon. And I'll have them back soon, but that one, Oh Faithful Flag, is just burning it up, and it's due to you, so thank you so very much. And yep, I will see you guys hopefully in 2 weeks. I'm gonna give it a try, and until then, stay happy, healthy, and terrific. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.